We're talking to Sully from Godsmack today. First I want to talk to you a bit about your new album 4, which came out and it hit #1 on Billboard. Were you guys surprised, or what was your reaction when you saw it after being gone since 2003 that it came back at #1?
Well, we were happy, and pretty grateful that it went #1, but I don't think it was ever like on our agenda when we were writing and recording the record. We wanted to take some time off, obviously after touring for 7 years or whatever, and the last tour being such a big tour with Metallica, it was really, draining on us, so we needed to detach a little bit. And, when we finally got back together and we wrote and recorded this record, it was, we put a lot of work into it. It took us over a year to write it and record it. So it was very gratifying to see, that there is some justice in this world.
Was it different for you coming back to songs that they had already written some while you were away dealing with your stuff and putting lyrics over top of them, as opposed to before when you were so involved in every part of every song?
It was very different, and it was very difficult because, it's the first time that I kind of let go of the reins and let the band just go off writing. Usually, I would be the majority of the writer and come in with, the music, even if it was fairly naked, I'd present it to the guys and we'd all work on it and they'd make it their own. But this time there was a lot of music just presented to me that I had no part of, which was really interesting and fun in a sense to write for. But it was very challenging because it was like writing for a brand new band. I would have never approached writing that guitar riff in that way. So when they gave it to me, it was like, wow, this is, it made me think outside of the box. And because of that, I think it's why this record sounds a little bit more special to us and a little bit more unique, because it wasn't one person kind of controlling the whole writing process. It was a little bit of everybody contributing.
After how big all your previous albums were you afraid that going in that different direction and having a different sound was going to have some sort of negative impact on you guys?
No, I think the one thing that's really cool about this band, at least for the individuals in the band, is that none of us are really afraid of experimenting, and we've always, had told each other that we never want to have a ceiling above our heads, there's been some great bands that we've learned from throughout our history, like Led Zeppelin and people like that, they had so many different styles of music within their catalog, and I think that's what this band wants to continue to grow to be, is like a band that has a lot of versatility and variety in their songs and never be limited to just being a metal band or a rock band or an acoustic band or whatever it is, So with this record we wanted to introduce some new flavors, some bluesy riffs and some acoustic stuff with mandolins, and even like One Rainy Day is like something that we never thought would be on a Godsmack record. Oh, I have a book coming out this fall, an autobiography. So you want to see how miserable I really was? Read that one.
Any big revelations come out in it that people would be shocked?
Well, I'll tell you, it's the name of the book's called The Paths We Choose, and it's not your typical rock star autobiography. It's not about music and groupies and drugs and all that stuff. It's about from the time I was born until I got a record deal and what it took for me to get from point A to point B. And I basically wrote it because, I was raised very poor and in a very tough neighborhood and lived a life of violence and crime in the streets and all that. And I just wanted people to see who are maybe still struggling with that, if you have a dream or a passion or whatever, that we're no different than you. Like, we weren't born rich rock stars or actors or actresses. We were definitely like the same kids that stole car stereos and, that kind of thing, and fist fought. And so it's a pretty interesting read, It just kind of goes through my life from 0 to 30, and then it ends when I get a record deal.